G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Bloodied Sheepsquatch staff with 40% faster swing speed, and we're taking 15% less damage whilst blocking major and minor legendary effects respectively. Yeah, I probably won't be blocking throughout the entire duration of this video, but it's nice to have. Remember what the Skyrim guys used to say, the best defense is a good offense. I'd rather be hitting something in the head and killing it rather than letting it hit me, even though we'll be taking significantly less damage when we're doing that, but, you know, that's kind of an interesting thing there. Blocking, I don't do it at all, especially if I'm using Sneak, but we'll figure out whether this thing can actually be used with Sneak. But this is a slugger weapon. It's a two-handed weapon. It may not look all that big once we actually use it in first and third person. It's actually kind of massive. You've got this massive skull on the end of a stick here, and you hit things with it, and it does a lot of damage. More damage than the pole hook, completely unspec'd. Now, I typically prefer the pole hook to be the superior pick for the slugger weapons, because unlike the super sledge and the war dumb, and I do say that deliberately, it is a dumb weapon, this thing won't actually give away your position when you swing it, because there's no rockets on it or something to, you know, make you super detected whilst you're doing it. You also get the extra armor penetration out of the puncturing attachment. And as you can tell, we're slightly edging out the damage on this thing. We've got 191 and 13 ballistic and energy damage, respectively. No armor penetration, but we're getting armor penetration anyway from Incisor, so we might be okay. I'm not really keen on energy damage in this game, or Fallout 4. It's kind of impotent, but it's also nice to have. It's kind of like the blocking thing. I'd rather have it there than not, but it's probably not going to do... Well, it's not going to be game-changing, that's for sure. We'll chuck on some of these slugger perks to increase the damage before we get ourselves angry again, and to boost that even further. So we'll chuck on all of the slugger perks. Serendipity goes on because I'm going for a bloodied approach with this. That might come off later on if I have to do this in power armor, but we'll have to see how we go. And now we're doing 325 and 21 versus 306 for this. So yeah, edging out further, but once we get into Nerd Rage, that gap would be significantly increased. Look, I'm not even at Nerd Rage yet, we're already clocking 1,000 damage, and there it goes, it ticks over, but yeah, I could stay here and, you know, be a little bit more survivable, but I'm going into Nerd Rage anyways. Although I probably shouldn't be surprised, this thing's hitting just under that, but that gap is significantly increased now, so yeah, like I said before. Alrighty, here we are at Captainoob, and here is my Sheepsquatch stuff in first person. See, it's kind of large. You can't see the skull in first person because it's all the way up there. You'd think you'd get extra reach out of this thing because that's super long. If you're playing as a male character, I'd ask you whether you're compensating for something, but it's kind of ridiculous, but I don't think it'll serve anything to our gameplay, giving us increased reach. Here is my unyielding stuff. That's boosting my strength up. I've got 2 of these with reduced fall damage, which means I'm completely immune. Anyways, here at Captainoob, we like to do a very scientific test to figure out whether this weapon is going to be garbage or not. And basically what I do here is I press 0 buttons but mouse button 1. Okay, this is going to be fine. Normally if I'm swinging the super sledge like that, what'll happen is instant danger. But we're going to be fine. This thing is not going to be garbage. I won't have to use it in power armor, which means we can make use out of all of the unyielding damage boosting this thing, as well as all of the sneak criticals that we get, which is quite honestly overkill. We probably don't have to, but I'm going to do it anyway because I don't like being shot, you see. Stim packs, you can sell them. You sell the surplus stim packs to the robots, so you can make a pretty good profit out of it. I mean, in terms of how much Bethesda will actually let you have from those fucking rip-off robots, but oh well. I'll take what I can get, and now we're doing 2146 damage plus 90, 2236 quick maths, except the energy damage is terrible, so I wouldn't even consider it. We'll keep this run going, no need to break out of stealth yet. I've also got the weighted armor bits on my arms, and that allows me to punch through slightly more armor at the cost of the weight of the attachment or the armor bits itself, which is not a problem since I've got a high strength build anyway, so that's fine. The only obstacle here is whether these super mutants want to block me or not, and that's only if they're carrying melee weapons. This idiot brought a laser rifle to a Sheepsquatch club head thing fight, and he lost, so there's a little lesson for you kids. Always rip off a head of a giant goat monster and put that on a stick and hit things with it, because you'll beat energy weapons every time. Smithers, who's that goat-legged fellow? I like the cut of his jib. As a Prince of Darkness, sir. Here's your 11 o'clock. Sorry, I thought of Sheepsquatch and I said goat, so I had to drop a Simpsons reference in this video because I don't do that quite enough at work, that's for sure. And if people from work are watching right now, they know that I'm being a big fat liar right now. Anyway, so I discovered recently you can kind of teleport using VATS with melee weapons if they're quite close enough. Don't try that again, mate. You can kind of just teleport through here, like so. That's kind of neat. I like how you can do that. It's like, yeah, you know, Batman grappling hook through the thing. But now we can assault to this place from a different thing. That's, you know, that's one of the best auto stimpack things I've ever seen. Yeah, don't you bloody hit me. You know, if you're going for a Grognak playstyle like this where you run in and don't even stealth, having swing speed is so useful because generally enemies in this game sort of, they wind up. They let you know that they're going to come in with a big strike. And as you can tell with that super mutant there, he had his super sledge well in the air ready to come in and cave my skull in. But since I beat him to the punch with my extra swing speed, well, I was able to kill him. Also, Becker is so goddamn tanky. I think a lot of it has to do with the bugs in the game, but also having having adamantium skeleton, so I'm not being staggered every 2 seconds, even when under some heavy fire from automatic rifles. Oh, it's so good. And honestly, we're making good time here. I don't have to rely on sneak to, you know, kill my enemies, so I don't have to creep around, which means I can sprint around and power attack things and kill them very quickly. So I might just go into the hell room because I save it for very special weapons that can actually, you kick things asses like this, like that. Kicking their asses. I'm headbutting their asses because I'm not kicking them at all. Let's bust this terminal open. Nice. If you bail out of the terminal quick enough, the door kind of teleports open, which is helpful because you save like, I don't know, half a second. We're doing speed running tactics here. Even though if I wanted to optimize a route, I probably wouldn't have messed around waiting for the super mutants to come close enough to teleport through the thing. I wonder if there's like a little speedrunner category clearing out cells as fast as possible. I'm thinking something like a Bloodied fire rate LMG would probably be the best for that. Because the miniguns... Oh, I actually died. There you go. Next time, fight better. Fuck you. I won't. Okay, I do want to finish the job here. At least get my petty revenge against the AI who wronged me. Where are you, you bastard? There's one. Set for kill. Set for headbutt. See, look at him lining up for that pimp slap there. I was able to get him before he actually reached me, but then netcode's like, nah, he got you, bro. And the game says, alright, let me apply this damage, which isn't a lot because of blocker, but yeah, I think my main problem there was just the dudes with automatic rifles. You know, that's why I sneak with these weapons, because stimpacks are expensive and dying is not very fun. It is... I mean, there's no impact to it because you just respawn, like, everything's the same, like, 30 seconds later. I mean, if you're slow, but if you're 5 seconds later, we'll call it that. But, yeah, there's no impact of death like there was in Fallout 1 or 2 at all. So I'm thinking, in general, you always want to go for a swing speed approach to a slugger weapon because they kind of already swing slow by default, and if you get into a situation where you're being swarmed by multiple turd zombies like you see here, you kind of want to be swinging as fast as possible. If I was stuck with a power attack damage, sure, I could hit these guys slightly harder if I decided to actually do the power attacks, but I won't be able to deal with my threats quite as fast as what you are seeing now. Bonk you on the head for 4,200. Yeah, nice. And also, it really punishes you for missed shots too, so make sure you always equip Blade Master, so you got that extra 10% chance to hit. No, always make sure you're actually swinging somewhere where you'll actually hit a skull, because, you know, it's got to be skull-on-skull action, big old headbutts. Yes, who's in here? The usual guys who don't really bother getting out here until I go to them. Lazy ghouls. Back in my day... Back in Fallout 4, the tools would bloody track you halfway down across the bloody map, especially at Jamaica Plain. If only those ghouls respawned, I could actually do a decent crowd control test procedure there. Even though the Gunner's Plaza is kind of good for that, but They're not going to mindlessly run at you like these goddamn tools, but we're done. We took a couple of scratches there, a little bit more than was probably necessary, but I wasn't sneaking and I got away with it just fine. I'm just gonna get rid of these bloody radworms. And if you're wondering why I do call them tools all the time, it's because they're dumb. It hasn't quite caught on yet. Everyone still refers to them as ghouls though, but hopefully that'll change one day. We'll start calling ghouls tools. Speaking of dumb things, I should have definitely hit that shot, but didn't need to get the headshot to one-shot him, so whatever. Okay, this time I will be 100% sneaking because this thing, it's slow and I'll get ripped apart by damage over time, which is not very fun at all. Nice. I was testing the range of this thing to see if the theory about having a big-ass long stick might increase your range, but I'm pretty sure it's standardized across all of the weapons, which I think is kind of interesting because what you can do with that is say, well, you've got the, can I hit them? Thank you. Shit, I'm under 10% health. Well, too late now. Better make the most of this. Can't one-shot her without a sneak critical there, but the power attack did pretty good. I'm gonna teleport and whack this guy before he can get me. Probably time for a rat away. Nah, she'll be right. Okay, so my thoughts on this versus the pole hook are, well, there's not really much for me to talk about. They're both, I mean, this thing is slightly out-damaging it, the pole hook for sure. No chill, Mr. Bear. Nice. But yeah, the problem is that it's not very accessible. You need the plans for it, you need to kill a Sheepsquatch or something for it. Apparently we're just in Legendary Bear Town. Please don't kill me. I'm basically playing one-hit wonder mode here, so I better make it worth it. These rads are ticking down me health bar. Oh my god, serendipity. And again. Feeling lucky. Maybe I should go buy a lottery ticket. Ooh, that bear just got devoured by the ground. That's scary. I'm a bit worried now. Alright, I think we're done here. How much health do I have? 2. That's too much. I need 1 less health to take the Scorched Beast Queen with. Also, peep that damage, under 10%. 23, 30, 23, 24, actually. I was 10 damage off, but yeah, I think it is time for some rat away. Okay, so apparently the fight's not over. I was alt-tabbed because, oh, well, I got a notification. I got distracted, so I left my character kind of just standing there, letting the rads go away before I'd fast travel to my next location. Next thing I know, a bear screams in my ear and I'm dead, so thanks for that, you albino thing. Okay, health is at more acceptable levels now. Now let's pay attention to this thing. Since the damage difference against regular mobs in this game, even against the stronger things like queens and swans, it's there's like barely any difference, but against Scorched Beast it gets elevated another little bit. But until we actually belt the brains out of a Scorched Beast Queen with this staff, I don't think I can make that conclusion. But yeah, I'm thinking there's going to be, it's kind of negligible. I might actually prefer the extra armor penetration that you get out of the thing. I'm pretty sure I've got Enforcer on. Yes, he's going to land, isn't he? Good. Come in, mate. Let's see how this goes, eh? I'm going to get the blight out of this, but oh well. Probably going to pick it up at some point during today's recordings. I saw 10k. Okay. That's not bad at all. Too bad I can't put a prime skull on this with like all ultrasight splax on it. Please land. Oh, big mistake. Big mistake, Mr. Scorched Beast. You're not getting one-shotted, but I'm going to whack you without the power attacks. Apparently, it was your idea to not stagger me whilst that happened. Interesting. I don't have pneumatic armor bits. I should actually focus on killing these minions now because they might actually kick my ass. No, we're done with the super mutants. Go away. We're finished with you guys. Anyways, we're at full adrenaline now. Whether I was at the time of actually, you know, belting a skull out of a Scorched Beast for 10k damage, I'm not sure. But hopefully I can pull one more out of this. Oh, go away, Death Collision. As soon as they ragdoll, they should have no collision. 14,000. Shit, that about matches my damage record with the Bloodied swing speed pole hook. That's not too bad. That'll do how much on a queen? Well, it's got the 70% damage resistance, so times it by 0.3. What does that give you? I don't know. Quickmaths.exe isn't working here, but a whole ton of damage. At least 3 damage, I can tell you that much. Anyway, so it's a pretty decent weapon. Oh, is that... There's some weird glowing nonsense here. Yeah, it's kind of a cool attention to detail thing, but it kind of exists despite the weapon not being there. Ooh, that's weird. Fortunately, unlike the Tesla rifle, it doesn't actually show as glowing on you, but yeah, it could potentially give away your position. Not that you'd be doing fucking PvP with this thing. Melee weapons in PvP is like signing your own death warrant. Could have said that in a Frank Horrigan voice, but yeah. Well, I'll be back with this thing. I think I should belt the crap out of Barbara with this thing, and I'll give you a sound conclusion then. But impressions are this is probably the better weapon because of that, again, that higher damage count. But you can't go wrong with a pole hook. This thing is kind of heavy as well. I do have the martial artist perk. It's bringing the weight down significantly. But yeah, this thing is almost double the weight, which I guess makes sense because it's a big stick and it's got a skull on it. Thank you for watching, guys.